Welcome to Divine Therapy Inc. Before we step into the sanctuary of this story, I want you to find a place of absolute and total stillness. This is a journey for your identity, a long and peaceful walk through the architecture of how you see yourself. Ensure your environment is quiet. Let the world outside your door fade away. Close your eyes and visualize a soft, violet light beginning to glow at the center of your heart, spreading slowly like a calm lake across your skin, your face, and your spirit. Today, we are speaking to the part of you that feels inadequate. We are speaking to the part of you that looks in the physical mirror and sees only flaws, mistakes, or a person who isn't enough. We are speaking to those who struggle with body image, low self-esteem, and the heavy weight of comparison. This is the story of a woman named Kalia and the mirror of the true self. Kalia lived in the city of Shards. In this city, there were no windows, only mirrors. The walls of every house, the surfaces of every table, and even the paving stones of the streets were made of highly polished silver. The people of the city of Shards spent every waking moment looking at their reflections. But these were not ordinary mirrors. They were critical mirrors. They were designed to magnify every blemish, every wrinkle, and every perceived imperfection. If a person had a tiny freckle, the mirror made it look like a dark cloud. If a person felt a moment of sadness, the mirror made their face look like a mask of despair. The city was a place of deep vanity and even deeper insecurity. Everyone was constantly trying to fix what they saw, painting their faces and hiding their bodies, yet no matter what they did, the mirrors remained cruel. Kalia was a prisoner of these reflections. She woke up in the morning and immediately checked the mirror by her bed. She saw a woman who looked tired, plain, and unworthy of love. She spent hours comparing her reflection to the images of the perfect ones that were plastered on the city walls, images that were themselves distorted by even more complex mirrors. Kalia felt that her body was a cage that didn't fit her soul. She felt that if she could just change her nose, her weight, or the shape of her eyes, she would finally be happy. She was exhausted by the war she was waging against her own skin. She felt that she was a collection of parts that didn't add up to a whole. She had forgotten what it felt like to simply be. One day, Kalia heard a rumor about an ancient temple hidden in the heart of the Grey Forest, far beyond the city limits. It was said to house the mirror of the true self, a mirror that did not show the flesh, but the fire. Driven by a desperate need to see something other than her flaws, Kalia left the city. As she walked through the forest, she noticed that the trees didn't have mirrors. The lakes were dark and still, reflecting only the sky. For the first time in her life, Kalia wasn't being watched by 1,000 critical eyes. She began to feel a strange, quiet relief. Her shoulders, which had been pulled up to her ears in a defensive wall, began to drop. She realized that without the mirrors, she felt lighter. After many days of walking, she reached the Temple of the Heart. It was a simple stone building, weathered by time and covered in soft green moss. Inside, there was no gold, no silver, and no ornaments. In the center of the room stood a large, circular frame made of dark, ancient wood. But there was no glass in the frame. Instead, there was a curtain of falling water, thin and clear as a summer breeze. An old woman, the keeper of the site, stood by the water. She whispered to Kalia, "Child, you have spent your life looking at the shell of the nut and wondering why you cannot taste the fruit. The mirrors of your city show you what you have, but they can never show you who you are. Step forward and look through the water." Kalia approached the frame. Her heart was pounding. She was terrified that the water would show her something even worse than the silver mirrors. She took a deep breath and looked. At first, she saw nothing but her own blurred outline. But as she relaxed her gaze, the water began to shimmer. She didn't see her nose or her skin or her hair. Instead, she saw a magnificent, pulsing light. It was a kaleidoscope of colors, deep blues of wisdom, vibrant greens of healing, and gold threads of pure love. The light was in constant motion, dancing like a flame. It was beautiful. It was vast. It was radiant. Kalia gasped, "Who is that?" The keeper replied, "That is Kalia. That is the architecture of your soul. That is the energy you bring into a room when you walk in with kindness. That is the strength you use to survive your darkest days. That is the light the divine placed within you before you ever had a face. The silver mirrors in your city are blind to this. They can only see the dust on the lamp, they can never see the flame inside." Kalia stayed at the temple for a long time. She learned that her body was not a project to be finished, but a sacred temple that housed this magnificent light. She learned that her flaws were like the knots in a tree. They gave her character and showed the story of her growth. She realized that beauty was not a shape or a color. Beauty was the frequency of a soul that is at peace with itself. She looked at her hands and didn't see aging skin. She saw the tools that had held her friends and created her art. She looked at her eyes and didn't see tired circles. She saw the windows through which she witnessed the world. When Kalia returned to the city of shards, she was no longer a prisoner. She walked past the silver mirrors and didn't even look at them. When she did catch a reflection, she smiled, because she knew that what she was seeing was just the shadow of the real Kalia. She started a school in the city called the School of the Inner Eye. She taught the young girls and the tired men how to close their eyes and find the amber light within themselves. She told them, "The world will try to sell you 100 ways to change your face, but it will never tell you that your soul is already perfect." If you are listening to this today, and you are tired of the war with your own reflection, I want you to take a deep, slow breath. I want you to imagine that you are standing before that curtain of falling water. I want you to let the critical mirror in your mind shatter into 1,000 harmless pieces. Those voices that tell you that you are too this or not enough that, those are not your voices. They are the echoes of the city of shards. Close your eyes right now. Visualize that pulsing light in the center of your chest. Feel the warmth of it. This light does not have a weight. It does not have a skin tone. It does not have a blemish. It is pure, divine energy. It is the part of you that laughs, the part of you that loves, and the part of you that dreams. This is your true self. Your body is the beautiful, temporary home for this light. It is a vessel, and just like the potter's jar, it is allowed to have cracks and character. Take a long, deep breath in for 4 seconds. Hold it for 4 seconds, feeling the light expand. Now, as you exhale for 8 seconds, visualize yourself washing away the expectations of the world. Release the need to look like an image on a screen. Release the shame of your flaws. You are a masterpiece of the divine, not because of how you look, but because of the light you carry. At Divine Therapy Inc., we want you to stop looking at the shell and start tasting the fruit. You are beautiful because you are a miracle of biology and spirit. You are beautiful because you are a unique vibration in the universe. Practice the inner eye today. When you pass a mirror, instead of looking for a flaw, look into your own eyes and say, "I see the light within you. I love the soul you are." Stay in this space of radiant self-love for a few more minutes. Feel the peace of a ceasefire within your own mind. You are not a project. You are a presence. You are worthy of love exactly as you are right now, in this breath, in this body, in this moment. Thank you for trusting us with your journey. You are the flame, not the lamp. Until next time, stay in the light and remain in the light.